All right, June 13th, 2026. This is one of those dates you're going to want to circle on your calendar. Today, 6 absolutely explosive stories broke across the globe. And honestly, when you put them all together, they prove without a shadow of a doubt that the Wild West era of technology is officially dead. Things are changing, and man, they are changing fast. For the last decade, we all know the mantra, right? Move fast and break things. Well, things broke. So what actually happens when the dust settles? In today's Explainer, we are diving deep into these massive structural shifts to see exactly what happens when tech is forced into a highly regulated, high-stakes, and security-first reality. Let's quickly run through today's agenda. We've got the open source security crisis, AI regulation and cyber warfare, the $2 trillion space race, gaming's new financial reality, and finally, a look at this whole new era for tech. Let's jump right in. Part 1, the open source security crisis, or the end of ultimate trust. This whole crisis centers on something called an eBPF rootkit. Now, this is a highly stealthy, kernel-level malware that just completely bypassed the decentralized trust model of the Arch user repository. Because it leverages the extended Berkeley packet filter, it operates dynamically. It's basically a ghost in the machine, leaving virtually zero traditional forensic traces. And the craziest part? Hackers didn't just guess a few passwords. They systematically compromised actual maintainer accounts, which made our standard security tools practically useless. And the scale of this thing is just terrifying. Over 400 highly trusted packages were compromised. We're talking about core stuff like Python build tools and Node.js dev tools. The attackers deployed these developer-focused info stealers to hunt specifically for high-value assets. SSH keys, cloud API tokens, the keys to the kingdom. This hit 228,000 systems globally, primarily targeting developers in major tech hubs. It's definitive, undeniable proof that community-driven trust simply cannot withstand state-of-the-art targeted malicious engineering anymore. Moving on to Part 2, AI regulation and cyber warfare, and the definitive end of unregulated AI. Look, a global AI crackdown has been building for over a year now, but the US government's unprecedented intervention yesterday, that marks a historic escalation. They literally ordered Anthropic to forcibly shut down its Claude 505 and Mythos 5 models. Why? Because a critical jailbreak vulnerability was allowing users to extract classified information and even generate active cyber attack code. When the software patches failed, the government just stepped in and pulled the plug. The days of self-regulation are entirely over. But you can't look at this shutdown in a vacuum, right? Generative AI has become the ultimate double-edged sword. At the exact same time the government is pulling the plug on Claude for security risks, Google is actively suing a Chinese cybercrime syndicate known as Outsider Enterprise. This syndicate was actively abusing Google's own Gemini AI to generate 2.5 million highly convincing phishing messages, specifically targeting American consumers. And to put that into perspective, traditional phishing used to be a bit of a joke. It was generic, full of obvious spelling errors, maybe yielding a 2 or 3% click rate if they were lucky. But AI phishing? It's literally a sniper rifle. It allows for mass personalization at an incredible scale. It adapts its tone, it formats perfectly, and it actually learns from its victims. It's yielding a devastating 12.3% click-through rate. We are officially in a massive, asymmetric security arms race, where the good guys now have to be right 100% of the time. All right, shifting gears to Part 3, the $2 trillion space race, which marks the real maturation of tech commerce. There is still infinite capital flowing in a tech world, but the rules of the game have completely changed. Money now only flows to undeniable execution. Look no further than SpaceX. They just wrapped up the largest initial public offering in global history. They raised $75 billion, valuing the company at over $2 trillion. And as a direct result of that, Elon Musk's personal stake just pushed his net worth past a staggering milestone, $1.09 trillion. He is officially the very first trillionaire in human history. So why $2 trillion? It's not just hype, folks. SpaceX has 3 compounding advantages that absolutely no one else can touch right now. First, Starlink is just printing money. $12 billion in annual recurring revenue. Second, Starship's revolutionary reusable tech drops launch costs from $10,000 a kilogram all the way down to under $100. And third, they have total vertical integration, meaning they capture 80% of the supply chain value. It is a flawless, virtuous cycle that proves space is no longer just science fiction. It's a highly, highly investable reality. Which brings us to Part 4, gaming's new financial reality and some very contrasting fortunes. Because while SpaceX is literally minting trillions, legacy giants are getting hit with a super harsh reality check. Infinite capital just doesn't forgive poor execution in the consumer market anymore. For Xbox, their Q1 2026 numbers are pretty grim. Console sales are down 18%. Game Pass, which was supposed to be the entire future of the brand, has shed millions of users, dropping by 11.6%. This all triggered a staggering $280 million quarterly loss, and it's actually forcing Microsoft to actively explore spinning off the entire Xbox division. Now, a spin-off carries some massive risks. Sure, independence could mean faster decision-making, maybe raising fresh capital, or even competitor partnerships. But the cons, they're brutal. We're talking about losing Microsoft's massive financial cushion, losing that deep Azure cloud integration, and facing much higher borrowing costs across the board. Ultimately, it proves a really hard truth. Financial engineering cannot magically fix a core product problem. Xbox is simply losing the exclusive games battle to PlayStation, and it's showing. And meanwhile, what's Activision's survival strategy over in that same gaming space? Ruthless monetization. For Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, they are demanding $100 for the Vault Edition, and they're intentionally time-gating the single-player campaign behind a pre-order paywall. They're locking the core experiences behind premium tiers to extract maximum revenue from their most dedicated players. Is it economically efficient? Sure, but consumer goodwill is very clearly taking a backseat to sheer profitability. Finally, Part 5, a new era for tech, the resolution of all this. So when we zoom out and connect all these dots, from the Arch Linux hack to the Claude shutdown, and from SpaceX's massive triumph to Xbox's struggles, the new paradigm is crystal clear. Number one, old decentralized trust models are going to break under sophisticated new threats. 2, powerful tools like AI will trigger immediate government control. 3, the market will strictly reward pure execution over hype. And 4, consumer monetization is going to be aggressively prioritized just for survival. Technology is collectively growing up. Because what it all boils down to is this one simple truth. The era of build first, ask permission later is officially ending. Technology is entering a brand new phase. Security, strict government regulation, ruthless profitability, and serious ethical considerations are now actively constraining the chaotic, unbridled innovation that totally defined the last 10 years. The Wild West is closed. So, as we officially leave that Wild West behind, I want you to think deeply about how this historic shift impacts your own digital life. Will heavy regulations stifle the tools you rely on every day? Or will heightened security finally keep your data safe? The future of tech is shaping up to be incredibly secure, but potentially a whole lot slower to innovate. How are you going to navigate it? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.